Hi, welcome back to the Alex and Dom Show, our 100th episode. Can't believe we made it.
I know.
100 episodes.
It's crazy.
Just to give you a little background about the show, we're a podcast where we talk about all sorts of things, mostly true crime, supernatural, paranormal, and
We throw some funny
yeah, we like to
comedic
have
ones in there too.
humor with it and talk about stuff that could be real, but most likely is not. But we've had 52,249 listens across 140 countries. So
That's great.
yeah,
Thank you all for listening in.
if one person listened to this podcast, I would still do it.
Yeah.
I love doing it. But we're going to, with 100th episode, we're going to talk about past experiences, episodes, the future of the show, and just our favorite overall moments throughout the 3 years we've been doing this. So,
Sounds good.
3 years already?
yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like it, does
Yeah.
it?
No.
Yeah, I know. Like, I was looking at Facebook and Instagram about, like, the posts we do for the episodes, and it's all, like, memories 3 years ago, and it's, like, vampires or witches, and I was like, holy shit, it's been 3 years since we talked
Feels
about
like
that
it
stuff.
was just a couple months back.
Yeah, like pirates and stuff, and our most popular episode ever, Mythical Monsters,
Yes.
the part 1, that was that blew up. It like reached like 300 downloads in like 3 days. It was
Yeah.
huge.
Really happy with that.
Yeah, and it was about us telling some mythical monsters that people might not have heard of.
Yeah.
So, so Dom, what's your favorite episode?
I've got a couple, but I think one of my favorites and one of our classics is Skinwalker Ranch.
I like that one too.
Yeah, that one was hilarious. I
Yeah.
loved.
Is that supposed to be funny?
No, it
No,
was
we
funny.
were the funny thing is we take it seriously,
Yeah,
but we're just dumb. So
yeah. The butthole sucking worm of the cows. That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite sentences I've ever uttered through the show.
But I always like any of the ones where we talk about myths, urban legends, and cryptids, stuff like that. Those are all my favorites.
Yeah. Just because like they could be real, they're like they feel more real than what a ghost would be.
Right.
In my opinion, I know Trey's not.
Yeah, she's more of the leans toward the spiritual, ghosty side of the
Yeah.
supernatural.
Yeah, you know, this is only the second time all of us have been sitting around the table.
Yeah, I know. We
did
very rarely do all three of us
Yeah,
in one
we
podcast.
did 1 year anniversary. Mm-hmm. That was a very important one. I felt like that was yes, we got over the hump.
Yeah.
Because most podcasts don't last that long.
Yeah, and it's okay. You know, we're not professional. We don't have a lot of editing. We don't do the big intros and stuff like that. We just talk about stuff we like to
What
talk
are you
about.
talking about? Our sound quality is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's top tier, top tier.
Yeah. We've been through a lot of trials and tribulations when it comes to audio.
Just trying to get things going. We tried to get a studio at one point, and
Yeah, it
that
just
fell
didn't work
through.
out
and
and all that stuff, and we lost pretty much everything. And then we had to slowly gain it all back.
Yep.
To the point where we were using like 20
phone mics,
yeah,
and
phone mics, $20 phone mics for like a good portion of a season.
yeah,
And then we had to echo issues and finding space to do it.
yeah.
Where,
There's no background noise. It's a
yeah,
big
that's
thing.
extremely hard to do, especially where we are now. But what's your favorite episode, Trey?
Probably the one we just did. The top 10 evil.
Oh, top 10 most evil people.
I like that one.
Yeah,
a lot.
God, if you guys, and no
I'll
one's
listen
listened
to
to
that.
it,
It was
you
great.
need to go listen to it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Well, I got to shine with my Germany
Yeah.
Nazi knowledge.
Yeah.
My
All-
favorite episode that you two did was the demons
Oh,
episode.
possessions and
Possessions
exorcisms.
and
Yeah, I
exorcisms.
forgot about that one. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. Like we were talking about, every time I would say something, Trey would be like, "That's a lot. That's a lot of
That's a lot.
priests.
Yeah.
that's a lot.
That's
That's
a
a lot
lot.
of exorcisms." And I was like, "It is,"
Yes.
because I was. Trying
You're
to,
right, it
I was
is.
trying to be professional, and I was just like, "All right, well, we're going off the rails here."
Yeah.
Oh yes, because that's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. I for whatever reason I like I love true crime.
Yeah.
But like the search and rescue episodes we did, for whatever, I keep going back to those. I've been thinking about them for like a month now.
Oh, the
creepypasta. Yeah. I understand why we stopped doing it, because it was about to get really bad. But like the creepiness of it, like when you're like reading it and I was reacting to it, I was just like, this could be real. Like this really feels like a search and rescue officer.
That's the cool thing about creepypastas, is that it's meant to make you feel like, you know, it's real.
Yeah. If it's done right.
If it's done right.
And that one was
the best creepypastas like that.
The Russian sleep experiment we did an episode on. That was a really good one. I love that one. The House of No End House.
Yeah.
That was another one we did.
I like that one a lot, too.
Yeah, we might be doing some more creepypastas in the future. I think we're doing Secure, Contain, Protect.
Oh, man. There's one creepypasta I read a while back, and it was about a girl who goes on this road and she tries to do this like left turn game or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Mm-hmm. But she ends up going through like this hellscape. Right,
oh,
and they keep losing because there's a bunch of passengers in this car, right?
Yeah.
And they're all together for some reason I can't remember it. And I know this isn't helpful, but they go through this like hellscape and they lose people along the way to different things, and it's just the way it's written is so well done. I got to look it up and see, and maybe we'll do one on that.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the pig one.
The pig one's creepy too.
The pig one, and then
we try not to. We tried previously not to do too many of the creepypastas because a lot of them get like kind of
repetitive.
No, just like some of them are gory or something. We're trying to appeal to like wide audiences.
Yeah,
so we
the majority of our audience is like 12 to 25.
We didn't want to get too graphic, so we try to keep things, you know, at least PG-13 most of the time.
Which we really need to start putting a disclaimer on some of the episodes. Like, there was a like the serial
true
killer
crime
episodes.
True crimes especially.
Yeah, we need to start putting like, hey, this is what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. We're improving. We're learning.
Yeah, we're learning, and but that I'm really excited to get that Secure, Contain, Protect, the SCP.
SCP would be so fun. Yeah.
We're gonna try to. We're trying. It's just so much information. There's so many of those.
Yeah. We could just pick some of our favorites, like the peekaboo type monster or whatever it's called.
Yep. And then but we did the UFOs episode.
Have you seen the new information on the aliens that the government, all the hearings that they've done?
The former officials.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're from NASA.
Some of them are from NASA.
Well, NASA, I mean, it doesn't get more space than NASA.
Yeah.
But they're saying that these aliens aren't from space. They're from here.
They're from the ocean.
And the ocean, which is crazy.
Which would make them not aliens.
But actually, it's so weird that we've just, as a society at this point, accepted it to the point where it doesn't bother us. Like,
nobody cares.
If this information had come out in the 90s.
Or the 80s.
Or the early 2000s or earlier back.
Yeah. If it came out in the 60s, it would be the biggest thing ever.
It would have been the biggest thing ever, yeah. But right now, with everything that's going on in the world, everybody's just like, okay.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, they were like, everybody was just like, oh my God, have you seen it? I've seen TikTok, so I mean, obviously some people care. But they're talking about how little people care.
Right.
They're not talking about the information. They're talking about, they're like, oh, they live in the ocean, and they're going to probably take over.
I've seen some clips of the actual hearings and them talking about it.
Yeah, I've seen that too, but I haven't seen any video evidence.
No evidence. No,
there's no
not
evidence.
Giving any evidence.
People are
maybe
talking
I'm just
about
not looking into it hard
the
enough.
thing in the ocean. They're talking about it coming out of the ocean. It's in the ocean. We like that. There's video evidence, and I was like, I have not seen it at all. I've searched so hard for this.
There isn't any.
Well, then I don't know what these TikTokers are looking at unless they're lying their ass off.
They're lying their ass off. It's clickbait.
Yeah.
But like in TikTok,
obviously it's working. I'm algorithming my shit out.
I just find it kind of funny that aliens pop up every time something serious is going on with either politics or global issues.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, oh look, there were aliens the whole time.
We have no proof.
Yeah,
we can't show you anything. It's all classified.
Has there been any communication?
Yes.
Define communication.
Kind
There's
of.
verbal and nonverbal.
They flashed us with some lights.
We saw their spaceship.
What do they
or
look
their
like?
ship,
We
or
played
whatever
some
they
notes on a keyboard.
EAP. UAP came out of the ocean and went like 54,000 miles in a second. And I was just like, maybe it's just dust on your fucking radar. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to
They're talking about like
them,
the propulsion, basically, is what's so weird about it, is they have no visible means of being able to move the way that they do.
Yeah. And my thing is, like, if they've been out under the ocean for thousands of years and they can come up whenever they want, why haven't we seen them, like, up and about? Like, what are they scared of? If they're so technologically advanced
probably
to get to this
because
world.
they're according to what they've said, they're hovering over nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So they might be watching and seeing, making sure we're not going to just blow up the entire freaking world and ruin everything for them too, you know. Or it could just be.
Well, they need to do something because Russia's getting pretty close.
Everything's getting wild.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just weird that we did a UFOs episode this season and then all that shit came out. It's always after the episode.
They probably listen.
Yeah.
They're
They
like,
probably do. They're just like, wait, the government's listening.
Yep.
These
We have to
guys-
listen to the Alex and Dom show to find out what happened next.
Yeah. But there's also there's different things that we've covered, and then like right after they released information.
Right.
Well, that's just reason why I haven't done.
Or there's been new
Yeah,
like sightings of like Sasquatch.
yeah, Sasquatch.
There was
like
accordingly
a
new
shitload.
sightings of Sasquatch after we talked about Sasquatch in the episode.
We talked about let's see. That's the reason why. Sorry, I was going back to the reason why we haven't talked about the Zodiac Killer and John Benet Ramsey, even though I've said like several seasons ago they were like, this is going to come up next season.
Yeah, I know.
It's
We
because they
change
keep
things around a lot.
Well, no, they keep coming out. They're like, oh my god, we found new evidence, and I'm like, oh my god, we gotta wait.
We
gotta
to
wait
find out
to
the
see.
research. Yep.
Yeah, we gotta
and
wait.
then
to see.
now they just found out new stuff about John Benet Ramsey too.
Yeah.
They did.
So
so like
we
I
have
said,
to
I
wait
kind
and
of want
find
to
more
wait.
information out.
I want to wait for that episode because I really want to. I really want to do that justice.
I think we all know what happened to John Benet Ramsey.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say because we're going to wait for the episode, but
Yeah, I mean, it's
also
pretty
don't want to,
clear.
get sued for
Defamation.
defamation either.
And also the Zodiac Killer. Like there was this thing that web sleuths may
There's
have
just
found.
they pop out documentaries every couple of years with new stuff. It's just to keep the public attention.
Yeah. And it's like one of those things like John Wayne Gacy. We did an episode on him, and then the next day
They did that confession tape.
No, the next day they did. They discovered the body.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
or
right.
They identified the body.
They
And I was
identified one
like-
of the other bodies.
They're like, because it happened as we were recording.
Yeah.
And you're like, did they find one? And I was like, not according to my research.
Yeah, and then right after
Yeah,
they had-
right after they released the name. I was like, shit. So I was like, okay, well, in the next episode, we'll just do an update.
yeah.
But so let's talk about like the history of the Alex and Dom show. When we first started this concept, and I really wanted to do it, we were going to name it Planet Dartarian.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's Planet Dartarian, let's do it. And then we were like, what's the first episode about? And we were going to do the moon,
Yeah.
the moon landing.
Moon landing.
And then we were like, okay, well, then people are
We
going to be
didn't want to
like,
get roped into like one type of...
yeah, it was going to be a space thing. Everyone's
Yeah.
going to be like, why would I want to listen to a space?
Is this going to be about planets?
Yeah.
Is it going to be like a scientific
Yeah.
type podcast thing? Or is it going to be like a alien conspiracy theorist podcast? You know,
And Trey hated the name of the show,
Right.
Dartarian. So we went ahead and did the Dartarian show for a long
Even though
time.
I did so much research on the moon.
yep.
The episode's coming up, and you're going to do it. The episode is coming up soon. Actually, it's the next.
My
it's the
controversial
next
views.
episode. Right after this
They're not
episode.
that controversial
it's
anymore.
the moon
No,
episode.
not really.
No, it's like one of the most believed conspiracies.
Yeah. None of the old conspiracies really. Nobody like. There's so many new conspiracies now that the old ones just don't hold up anymore. Like everybody's like, we all know that the moon landing was fake. Come on.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, they like I think the newest thing was Neil Armstrong like farted.
What?
Yeah, and then they had to like reshoot it or something. Like, yeah, it was like, what the hell?
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
But
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it said he farted.
Damn it, Neil!
That's why, because like that's why there's jumps in the recording.
You couldn't wait for the cut.
I know, bro. These mics are too adept.
Yeah,
like, we got a fucking. You farted on camera,
and it had reverb. So
yeah, it's like, I was like, we could have been like all the space noise, you know?
Yeah.
But,
people believed a lot of things back then.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those things where, but it was the Dartarian show for a long time, and for two reasons why we changed it was one, it's really hard to spell my last name. If you don't know how to spell it, like I get called Dark Aryan, which is horrible. It's like, and everything like that. So, or I get the classic Targaryen from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it does sound similar.
Yeah, but it's not. And then finally, just because Dom's such an intricate part of the show, I wanted to add his name on the title, so we did the Alex and Dom show,
which I, of course, greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to do Alex and Dom show with Trey.
With Trey, yeah,
with Trey.
Featuring
Trey.
Trey.
Yeah. Like I'm an artist.
Yeah,
we need to get you in more for sure.
Yeah, now that we got 3 mics, we could definitely do it. More episodes.
Hold one mic between the 3 of us.
Yeah. But we the future of this podcast, I think it's going to be amazing.
You got big plans.
Yeah, there's definitely some episodes that we've wanted to get to that we haven't had time or.
Yeah, it's been crazy with work and everything, you know.
Yeah.
Just time is very limited.
But we top 10 most evil people. That took a lot of research, and
especially on with the Nazi Germany.
Yeah, the hundreds of hours of documentaries that you've seen over the last year.
Books
There's something about like I get in moods where I'll just scroll for documentaries and I'll just watch documentary after documentary of the most random things.
Yeah.
And I get that knowledge that, you know, is just not important really, you know, useless knowledge, but you can list off fact after fact.
Yeah,
just,
the recall, like you're doing an episode, and you're like, oh my god, I get to talk about it.
Yeah, I learned this on Netflix.
Yeah, Trey was waiting. And as soon as we got to Adolf Hitler, she was just like,
bam,
hold my beer.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you everything about this.
And that wasn't
Nazi
even
party.
everything. There's so much more.
I know. I kind of want to do an episode on the Nazi Party, just like from the rise and fall and how it's impacted the world afterwards, like with the neo-Nazis, the Proud Boys, and like the idea of what the Nazis were talking about with the genetics and stuff, eugenics, started in America.
Yep, he got it from.
Yeah, he got it from America. So like, it's not like, oh, we're good guys. We went over there. I was like, no, we were like a couple steps away from this. Like we put the Japanese people during World War II in internment camps.
Yes, we were careful what we called them.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, we can't copy them. But with that, I think we should definitely do an episode on the Nazi Party.
It would just be a whole bunch of repeating from the other episode.
You can go way more into depth. But what are the episodes that you want to do, like coming up?
The moon.
Yeah, that's the next episode. Okay. What else?
I can't think exactly because I mean, there's what Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Which I'm still surprised we didn't do earlier.
It's because it's like everybody does it. Like that's like their like when a true crime podcast comes out, that is their go-to, Jack the Ripper, because he is the most infamous
overdone, basically.
Yeah, he's been overdone, and like we're gonna get to him. like this season coming up, season 8, which is this is the premiere. Or it might be a bonus episode. But my thing is like we want to go into Jack the Ripper. We want to talk about the crimes and everything, but we also want to talk about. I want to pick 4 suspects, and just because there's thousands of suspects, I want to pick 3 or 4, and really focus on why they think that they were Jack the Ripper.
You know that Unsolved Mysteries just covered Jack the Ripper recently. The Netflix show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just did.
Yeah, which is surprising because I thought they would have covered it a long time ago.
Yeah, I guess it's for the same reason, but they also had new information that I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
So.
I read that book by Patricia Cornwell. Oh my god, dude! She had me convinced. Like she solved it. I was like, she solved it. But it was like she spent millions on that book, and it made her look like a crackpot when they were like, it couldn't have been him. But what episodes are you excited for, Dom? What ones did you want to do?
I really want to dive more into mythology.
Yeah,
and all kinds like Greek, Egyptian, Norse, Irish.
Yeah,
I want to go into all the different mythologies at some point. You know, that's my big interest.
Yeah, and we're and I feel like urban legends is a lot with that. Just like that, we could do urban legends, different countries,
right?
And like because they can go all the way back to ancient times. Like America is young, in comparison. Even with the indigenous people that were here before colonials got here. Like they weren't here for very long. Not in the grand scope of like Greece and Egypt
and Africa
and stuff. But that's actually like African mythology would be really cool too because it is so old. I kind of really want to do episodes to where there's no explaining, not like unsolved, but like the Roanoke colony.
You want mysteries that
no, the Roanoke colony is explained,
but there's no evidence. There's
the evidence.
Best guess evidence.
No, yeah. I think just that one is one of the over the top.
They integrated with the native tribes.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
There's blue-eyed indigenous people. Yeah, that explains itself right there.
No, because there's 2 parents
that
have
left.
Brown eyes. They're like produce a blue eye
only if they have it in in the previous.
They
decided. Yeah, no, they just integrated. They left. They're like, we're not dealing with this.
Don't forget, Vikings did come to did come to America and Canada, and probably mated with the indigenous tribes. So that could be it too, and they just migrated it down. And that
it would have to be a specific type of Viking, though. It would have to be like Norway or There's other kinds of Vikings.
Leif Erikson.
Yeah,
he came here to Newfoundland.
Leif had red hair, I believe.
Leif Erikson. I can't take him seriously.
I have no idea.
I think he had blue eyes too.
I'm not 100%.
I like to think about a SpongeBob.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's other Vikings.
It's Leif Erikson Day.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the rest of it.
Every time I think of Leif Erikson, right? Yeah. I always say Leif Garrett, the singer.
Oh, the singer?
I was like Leif Garrett? Like, no, you idiot, it's Leif Erikson.
And then you mix them together, Leif Garrettson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done that before.
But no, that was like every time I think of that. But let's dive into current events, right?
Current events?
Yeah. Yeah, like stuff happening right now. Susan Smith, do you remember her?
I do.
Yeah. She came up for parole after like 30-some years of being
one that drowned her kids?
Yeah, that was like, oh, I don't know what happened to my children.
Right.
But she put them in the car seat and put them in the water. Yes. Huge during the 90s. Big. But she went up for parole.
Right.
She got denied.
Good.
Yeah. I do not think she should have ever been up for parole.
Right.
Scott Peterson is trying hard to get his stuff relooked at.
I'm not familiar with Scott Peterson.
Did they ever find the body? I don't think they've ever found her body.
I'm not familiar with that one.
He allegedly, since he's trying to come up for, parole. Like a retrial.
Well, was he convicted?
Mm-hmm.
Did they have solid evidence?
At the time, obviously, to convict him.
Well, enough to convict him, but sometimes convictions don't have...
Exactly.
Well, it's all circumstantial, but still...
Girlfriend or wife? I can't remember.
It was
it was a lot like Chris Watts.
Okay.
He found someone else.
Right.
Yeah, wanted to
Well, I don't
have
know.
a new baby with her. Mm-hmm. The Chris Watts, anyways, not.
Yeah, Scott. It was the
Chris
same
Watts,
scenario.
I don't know why, but the Chris Watts case freaks me out in a way that a lot of cases don't. It's weird. I can't watch the Netflix special because of it.
I won't watch the Netflix special anyway.
It's first of all, just children and being involved at all. Just I don't like it. It's something that I just don't like. Nobody likes it, obviously, but to me, it's just very, very upsetting. I can't deal with children.
Yeah, it was Lacey Peterson,
Lacey
and
Peterson.
she was with child at the time.
Right.
She was.
But the Chris Watts case, it's too much.
Just
seeing that one scene where he's standing in front of the TV, and that commercial comes on with the oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's standing there with the cops in the living room, and and on the TV, a commercial comes on. It shows oil and his kids and wife put into the
the kids were the mom was buried in the shower grave,
right? But yeah, so that's creepy in itself.
They were telling.
I know.
They were tattling.
It's ridiculous.
It was. I'm sure it was just the thing, but
It's a
the way he
coincidence, but
I don't
reacted.
think so. But
Yeah,
the
you
way
could
he
tell.
reacted.
He turned and looked at the TV, and immediately
Well, it
his
was
whole
like-
demeanor was.
Yeah. That was the American was it? Yeah,
the
it was,
American Monster, American Nightmare, or
Yeah.
something like that. I can't remember.
It's on Netflix.
I just think it's weird when parents are like 100% convinced that their kids didn't do horrible things. Chris Watts' parents are convinced he didn't do it.
No,
They-
dude, he did
They
it.
never liked her.
Okay,
Was it
they
Shannon?
are not
Yeah,
convinced. Yeah,
I think.
it's Shannon.
It's-
It's spelled weird.
I can't remember if it's Shannon or like.
Shannon, I believe.
And we're
Yeah.
not trying to be
No,
disrespectful.
we're
to
not.
Of
her.
course not.
But he's retold the story so many times. But his first story and his last story are quite similar. He said that Shannon was mad because he was leaving her for this new girl. Like he
After
had
she
told
got
her.
pregnant to save their marriage.
And she killed the kids to get back at him, I guess, which has happened.
Yes.
And then he killed her out of anger.
He's a liar.
Yeah, he had no defensive marks.
No, and
whatsoever.
if you listen, like, I know that people can snap and stuff like that, but if you listen, she was not the type of person to have done that.
Apparently she was extremely mentally abusive, according to him.
Him, of course,
Yeah.
it's him.
Well,
He's a
yeah.
manipulator. He's a
But there's
narcissistic
been
manipulator.
other people who've come forward and said, "Hey, she was a little bit." I was like, okay, she wanted him to do stuff and be outgoing like her. Like, that's not a reason to be murdered.
There is no real,
Yeah.
like, in that kind of situation. The truth is, he wanted to start over.
Yeah, he wanted to start.
And
over.
instead
wanted
of
to do over.
divorcing her,
He took the
chose to kill everybody.
easy route out.
Yeah, which for whatever reason,
Their logic,
family
people's logic
annihilators
don't make sense.
They don't make sense
Because they don't. I guess they think
Dude.
they don't. They 100% either don't think they are going to get caught, or they don't think about the consequences.
they don't care about the consequences.
Yeah, they don't
but
care.
the ones that
But
kill
they-
me are
But
the
their
hold on.
reason, their motive for doing it doesn't line up
No,
with the
it never
with the
makes any
consequences.
sense.
Because if they are killing them
Yeah, but when
for a
does
fresh start, right,
murder
with this
ever make
woman,
sense?
he has to think that he's not going to get caught. Because if he did, why would he do it in the first place? Because he's not going to get that happy ending that he's doing it for in the first place.
Oh, they're also like manipulators. If they don't kill themselves, also, they think that they can turn the story to fit their narrative.
He thought he could lie his way out of it.
And he can't.
And he could
even
hide
with
it.
his parents' help. But the ones that get me are the ones that kill their entire family, and then the family pets,
Yeah.
and then themselves.
I know. What did the pet do? I mean, what did the family do? But I mean,
the pet's gonna tell everybody.
I know. The dog's
I know.
going to just open up to the
The
investigators.
hamster.
Well, Chris Benoit didn't. Chris Benoit
Sorry, I
left,
get loud when I get overexcited.
He left a note saying that, like, the dogs are over here. Like, he killed, obviously, he was a family annihilator. He didn't kill his oldest son, but he killed Daniel, I think. Was it Daniel? I can't remember. His little son. And himself and his wife. And then he left a note saying that, like, the dogs are in the side door or something like that. Like, he knew someone was going to find them, the
Right.
dogs. But he didn't kill the dogs.
I guess he
any of
just
the
wanted
animals.
somebody to take care of the dogs.
I don't know. He should have left the kid alive with the dogs.
Surrounded.
He shouldn't have killed her either.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a lot of should-haves.
That was a lot of CTE and brain damage and all that stuff. Like, it's really hard. Like, Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah,
he had CTE.
They don't have enough research into stuff like that. They need to, because a lot of this stuff is preventative.
Well, a lot of serial killers and violent individuals have
something
it's
wrong
a common
with their
denominator. They have a head injury as a child. Like John Wayne Gacy, head injury as a child. The Boston Strangler, the L.A. Strip.
Yeah, but there are plenty of serial killers that have
that don't have any head
that we know of.
Right.
Yeah,
they might have.
I don't know. I don't think there's enough research into that.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer, we're going to talk about him this season, but he had he wasn't a brain injury. He had surgery, and he almost died on his brain was his brain was depleted of oxygen for a little bit, and when he came back, he was a completely different child.
No, because if it was that simple, then other people who have had brain injuries, it's not that. It's a perfect storm.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm of
it's
of
not
nature,
just the
nurture,
brain injuries. It's
head injuries.
They just don't know enough yet.
Yeah, some people.
I'm not
are just
saying that the
way.
head injury is like if you get hit in the head, you're going to be a violent killer. It's the type of head injury, and also associated with that a hard life. The brain injury that they believe just cuts off the consciousness or the empathy or the guilty conscience.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think if it was something that could be easily explained. I mean, granted, I don't know how many serial killers there are out now.
At least according to the FBI, 90.
Yeah.
But we catch them so fast now. Mm-hmm. Because
DNA is the big thing, and we're finding a lot of ones that are dead, obviously now.
Yeah,
but we're at least putting the names to the crimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even retroactive crime solving,
the Golden
DNA
State
is
Killer.
doing. Yeah,
Just call him Old Man. We did an episode on that.
I know it sucks. It sucks because they're not getting justice, but.
There was a lady that was a serial killer. It was just caught because of the ancestry and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Did you see where 23andMe got hacked?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God, dude! There's a lot of information. It's a good thing we didn't do it.
I was going to say we were going to do it.
Did you see about China and Pokemon Go?
No.
China apparently
allegedly.
Yes.
China allegedly.
Magic word.
At some point changed their terms of service, right, without anybody knowing.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently...
and started mapping everything. Every single Pokemon Go stop.
It's not a Chinese company though.
Niantic? Yeah, it is.
Is it? I thought it was a Japanese company.
No.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Let me.
You Google that, but that's crazy.
I use Pokemon Go.
They map
quite often.
Yeah, so do I.
That means China knows where I live.
Exactly. They mapped absolutely everything.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly
they
is the
own
key
it.
word.
Allegedly
they know where I live.
Well, TikTok is ByteDance is a Chinese company. I can't say allegedly.
No,
I think it is.
It is.
And then the Congress
isn't it Taiwanese?
No, it's ByteDance is Chinese company.
The guy who heads it is from Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore.
I apologize.
And they're like, have you ever been a Chinese? And he's like, no, Senator, I'm a Singaporean.
He's like I'm from Singapore.
Well,
and they're like, okay, have you been in the Chinese military?
I get it. Let me play devil's advocate for xenophobia, right? That's a horrible place to say. Let me rephrase that. I understand people's fear. I do, because it's the Russian company. Like during the Cold War, we were scared of Russians, the Red Scare, and like if you had a Russian accent or even a Russian sounding name, or even if you didn't go along with what the government wanted or like that, you were a communist. You were branded a communist. So I understand the whole xenophobia thing to an extent, but the point to where like you're an American citizen and you're just like, and they're mean to you just because you look Asian. Like half the time, most of the people that get discriminated against for being Chinese aren't even Chinese.
Yeah, it's a little harder with Russians.
Yeah. I'm just going to interject here real quick. I'm dumb. I'm totally dumb. I apologize, and I'm going to correct the misinformation right now that I apparently got off TikTok. It's not. Has nothing to do with China whatsoever. Yeah. Niantic's an American company, and Pokemon Go is Japanese. Obviously, Pokemon is from Japan.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, so that is wipe that off completely. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Well, it's a good thing we said allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
I'm dumb.
Allegedly is carrying a lot of weight in the conversation.
I'm dumb. Don't listen to Dom.
Yeah. Niantic. I didn't know that was an American company. Like,
It's based in San Francisco,
I just
apparently.
assumed it was Japanese because Pokemon Go is Japanese. The Pokemon company, Nintendo, and all that stuff. They're all Japanese.
Right.
Which Nintendo, they are like suing people left and right
For
now.
Pokemon, yeah.
For the Pokemon game,
yeah.
because they just came out with the trading card game, correct?
Pocket, yeah.
Yeah, the Pocket thing, and then they did. Nintendo is suing people who don't have permission to use their content on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah. They're
Which,
serious about their
yeah,
their-
okay. Let me rephrase that. They're not suing them for just playing the game. That's a That's a
No,
lie.
yeah.
They're suing them for modding it.
Okay.
Yeah, and which there's some companies like Nintendo that don't want any mods. They created the game
Yeah.
to be played a particular way.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with their shit.
It's their baby.
Yeah. So, and they don't want, and obviously Roblox, they made Nintendo knockoffs. Mm-hmm. There's some people that do that, and
Pal World had that
yeah.
lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think that's what I was talking about. Like Power
They're
World with Pokemon
still
and stuff.
in the lawsuit.
Yeah, and obviously we
Well,
talk about everything. We're
It's
jumping from subject to subject.
really close. Well, that's 100th.
Yeah, that's why I like the episode. That's what I'm saying. This is fun for me.
The Power World. It looked a lot like Pokemon.
Yeah, it
Some of
did.
the monsters,
It
like, I don't know
100% did.
if they meant it to do this, but like Electabuzz, right?
Electabuzz?
Yeah, Electabuzz. And the other one they put side by side, and it looked
They did a lot of the
exactly
comparisons,
a
yeah.
lot, yeah. But again, you don't have guns in Pokemon. There's different concepts.
Pal World's thing is that they don't. Pokemon doesn't have the monopoly on creature catching.
Yeah.
Is what they're trying to say. They're like, yeah, okay, it looks similar, but we're going a completely different route with our game. We build things. It's a crafting survival game. You've got guns in it.
Well, if that's the case, if you can sue for that, then Dark Souls can sue a lot of people.
Yeah, well,
Because-
From Software, because a lot of games use that formula,
Yeah, they call it Souls-like.
right?
That's what they
The
really call it.
Souls-like for a reason.
So, I mean, it just sets a precedent.
You can't. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. Copyright a concept.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of books are like that. Like, you can't copyright books. Like, okay, so you can call a book it, right?
Right.
Like, Stephen King does not own the title it. You can call another book it. Mm-hmm. It just can't be carbon copied from it. You can't like plagiarize it.
You can't call it and then have a clown that eats children in your book.
Sometimes you can, yeah. As long as it's not directly from, like, you have to change it. Like, you can't just, like zombies. Zombies, you can write books and books and books about zombies because no one owns
The concept of a zombie.
of zombies. George A.
thing with
Romero
vampires.
might own the name zombies because
that's why they call them like walkers,
Yeah.
and they call them the Zeds or
Yeah, they don't ever say zombies.
They
but
do
I don't-
sometimes, but-
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if he owns it, but it seems like quite a convenience. Convenient that, like, oh my God, we can't say zombies. Like,
Right.
why? But no, it's with that. Like vampires, demons, Frankenstein, all those people are like werewolves. They are public domain.
Yeah.
They cannot be copyrighted by anyone,
right.
and they can be talked about. And then, Trey, you read a lot of books. Have you ever read a book that is so similar? You're just like, did they just copy this?
No, not really. But it's more authors going against other authors.
Yeah.
Like there was a big fight on Book Talk, which is TikTok, but for books. It's like what is it?
There's a TikTok for everything.
Like a sub.
genre.
Book talk.
Yeah,
it's almost like a subreddit.
Yeah,
But
but
TikTok.
there was a black author that came out with a girl that could control the powers of the sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Her book was published and it was released.
Right.
A white author told her that she couldn't do that because her character, which was named Nova and had red hair, controlled the power of the sun. But
Yeah.
her book wasn't even published, right?
Okay,
It was in the editing. She
Published
says
the
that
book.
she copyrighted, like the black author
Plagiarized?
took this idea from her, even though this book wasn't even in it wasn't even in the editing stage.
Okay, was the author that was published?
Were they familiar with each other?
No.
Then she couldn't have stole her idea. Then.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's
But
not true.
Yes,
she
it is.
But that's not
Because
true.
if
Hold
she didn't have if she didn't publish any of her stuff,
She
she
didn't
could not
publish
have
any of
taken
it.
or copied it.
Hold on, listen. A lot of authors and screenplays are typed up in a Starbucks with over public Wi-Fi, and if you don't have a VPN, anything can be stolen.
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
not saying that this author did it. I'm just saying that that's not entirely true.
But the point is, people have the same idea.
Yeah,
Often.
yeah,
Right.
We're humans. We're all
But
going to.
this,
That's why you
the
have
white author
similar shit.
made multiple accounts on Goodreads, which is where people review books.
Yeah, and
tanked
slammed it.
the other ladies, right?
So she review bombed her.
Yeah. But the problem is she's spending so much time and energy,
Bombing her
and
reviews.
she hasn't even gotten her book
Published out.
to the editing stage.
Yeah,
So all she did is preemptively screwed up her own book.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the characters were both named Nova.
No.
They
It's
just both could control
it's
the sun.
It was the power of the sun thing that pissed off the white lady. She said that she couldn't do that because she was doing it.
Never mind that there's the power of the sun is
It's-
again
yeah,
the
it's a
concept
thing.
Yeah,
and
it's a
not something that can
concept,
be.
And there's numerous superhero comics
yeah, I
that
know.
have it. Like Marvel could sue a lot of people for a lot of power. So could DC.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, like there's a different or anime.
If you look at
God,
that,
there's
DC
anime.
and Marvel have very similar characters.
Yeah,
Deadpool and Deathstroke.
but I think there was a lawsuit between that.
yeah, there has
And
been,
then
but
I
they've
think it got settled because it was like you cannot own
Exactly.
a power
exactly
unless it's particular to that character.
right.
Like he's
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
No, because I think don't they have like
DC probably has a similar character, but I'm not sure.
yeah, but you can't call them Spider-Man.
Right.
You can call them something else and give them the powers of that.
Spider Lad.
Yeah.
Like the first is the boys using satire characters and
Yeah.
calling them, something. I don't know, something similar.
Yeah, like Homelander is
Yeah.
basically a knockoff of Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
Continuing on this show aspect, what have you heard, right? Mm-hmm. For the reasons with the recast in The Witcher. Why Liam Hemsworth
It's because Henry Cavill is a devout source material kind of guy. He 100% wanted to make sure that The Witcher was as close and true to the source material as possible, and the showrunners are like, "Meh, we don't want to do that. We want to do our own thing, and we want to improve on something that was already perfect because we
yeah,
think
but
we're
it's
better than
perfect
the
to
authors."
you.
That's
It's-
my opinion.
Yeah,
yes.
that's your opinion. So, and with the whole book material and stuff, source material, I believe that wholeheartedly. There's a reason these books sold.
Yes,
It's because
and
they
they're
were
making
good.
the adaptation for a reason.
Yeah.
Well,
And you know how a proponent I am to make movies like the books, like Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. That book was so much better than the movie. And the author of the book wrote the goddamn script.
Well, Stephen King has had that issue before too.
The Shining, yeah, but he didn't have enough clout or power. I
it's
guess,
not
to
just that.
Change it.
He did other things like The Mist.
Yes.
I mean, anyway,
Oh, that's not like the book.
No,
bringing back to what I was saying,
I might like the book.
new
better than-
information has come out about Henry Cavill.
okay.
Oh no!
Okay.
Please don't
He
wait before you
has
do it.
changed things. He's major in the changes that has happened in the show,
Right.
and the changes he put forward also deviate from the source material.
So you're saying that
I'm not saying
Okay.
anything because
Okay.
the things that he's choosing to change or he had chosen to change
are for the
is
better,
Like,
but that would be hypocritical.
Geralt,
You're up.
Right, Geralt.
his relationship with
Siri.
Yennefer.
Yennefer, okay.
In the books, apparently, it's a lot more physical.
Oh, it is.
It's,
Visceral.
it's sex.
Yeah.
And he chose to avoid that.
Right. As
I
much as
think they do
possible.
it once.
Once or twice. I can't remember.
It's apparently a lot more in the books.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
But he wanted their
He sleeps
connection.
with everybody. There are lots of people in the books.
He wanted his and
He's just
Yennefer's
a
connection
manly man.
to be emotional
Right.
instead of just raw and physical.
Right.
Like,
And
yeah.
he
But
chose
I liked that.
he chose
too.
that change, and
But
that was a
if we
big
say,
deviation from the books.
Right. If we say that, it's hypocritical to say,
And
well,
he-
that change is a good change,
they did separate for book reasons,
Right.
but he wanted more changes that he felt would fit better.
Right.
Just like it was his decision for him to react to Roach's death the way he did.
Yeah.
And that's a big deviation to begin with.
Yeah.
So
Because he's had a lot of horses, and they're all named Roach.
exactly. And
In the books,
he's not exactly a talker.
no, he's
And
not an
he
emotional
doesn't
person.
show emotions,
no,
right?
not really.
So him doing that.
I mean, his internal monologues are,
well,
but he does his
in
outward.
the show. You
his-
don't have that,
Right. His outward display is not so.
Yeah.
But those are his choices,
Man,
which are deviations.
Yeah. I'm about to talk about Sherlock Holmes, too.
In they're deviations in itself, right?
Yeah.
So he can't say that he's, for keeping it the same
If
if
he's-
he's the one that also makes alterations.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And I also just read just now that he was up for the Stormlight Archive adaptation. But he was told he's too old.
No.
Yeah.
No. Poor Henry. He gets shafted so much.
He's making his dream show, though.
I hope.
Warhammer
I
40K.
really
That's
hope that
true.
works for him because
Yeah.
he needs a win.
Yeah. Well,
And-
Superman, he was a fantastic Superman.
I
And
know.
then James Gunn came along and was all like, no. And I don't think it's Henry Cavill's fault. I think it's Zack Snyder.
The way they handled the entire DC universe.
and Dwayne Johnson
was-
kind of went in there and
was
screwed everything
terrible.
up. Like, DC's makes badass animated shows and movies.
Yeah.
But they just can't get that live action right.
There's some bangers.
Like Blue Beetle, I really liked.
Christian Bale's Batman movies
Yeah.
were great.
Well, I mean, it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Christopher Nolan's
it's
good.
all about the director, too.
And it depends on who you talk to, too. Everybody has their own opinions on which ones
Man
are
of Steel, I
good.
love.
I also read some information about James Bond.
Oh, what'd you
They
read?
said Barbara Broccoli
Yeah.
is the one that's directing the new one, right? She says
She
that
directing or producing it? Because the Broccoli Company is a huge producer. It's produced
She-
James Bond since the very beginning.
whether
like
she's
her
producing
dad.
or directing,
Yeah.
she said that James Bond might not be white, for one. And
James Bond
he's
doesn't
also going
have
to
to
be
be white.
in his
No.
mid-30s.
He doesn't have to be? Or it
He's
has
going
be?
to be.
Okay.
So they're going for someone older.
Okay.
Idris
So
Elba?
guess
And
Idris Elba then.
He's
No,
too
he's not.
old.
He's too old.
Oh, okay.
He's like 60s or something like
He
that.
doesn't look like it.
No,
I know.
no, he doesn't. But
Takes good care of himself.
they're going for someone who may not be white. They're not doing just
thought they-
Caucasian for the auditions.
I could have swore they already announced who James Bond was, didn't
No.
they?
no, they wanted
put a
to
short
do.
list up.
They wanted to do. What the hell's that guy's name? The guy who played.
Craven?
Yes,
Aaron Taylor.
Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yeah.
They
I
wanted
think he
him.
would be good.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy's too old.
Yes.
I really wanted Tom Hardy to be him. Be James
Tom,
Bond. but
I'm sorry.
He's 47.
I know you like Tom Hardy, but he's just the same and it just acts. I like.
You've seen him recently as Venom and all
Yeah,
that
his
stuff.
movies recently have kind of been.
There are like carbon copies
Yeah.
of each other, but like Bronson. If you've seen him in Bronson,
Yeah, Bronson was an amazing
Yeah.
performance from him, and there's others too.
it seems like when he was younger, he
tried.
diversed it.
That's what I'm talking about. He took more chances.
Yeah.
He hopefully will start doing more unique roles.
I don't
soon.
think Venom's done.
I don't think it is either.
I'm sorry, but that trilogy was not great.
I saw it's good for a first
It's
time
okay.
watch. First time watches, you're
But
like,
yeah.
oh,
I don't think Sony can make good Marvel movies. Like Disney
I feel like this-
had a
sorry.
huge hand in
I feel
Tom
like
Holland Spider-Man.
this entire episode sums up my ADHD.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
it's
love
all right.
it.
Like people like this. They like,
I like
people
it.
sitting around
I
table
just,
talks.
I just feel like, because people have told us before that we kind of go off the rails.
Yeah,
and
well, obviously they're not repeat listeners. We have repeat listeners who like us talking about all sorts of crap. But Sherlock Holmes, let's get back to that because I was like, I was talking about Sherlock Holmes. So there is a version of an emotional Sherlock Holmes who has emotions. You know, like every iteration you've ever heard of Sherlock Holmes doesn't have emotions. He's a psychopath.
Basically,
He's not a, he's a sociopath.
Sociopath. But there are books that are to where he has more of an emotional thing, and it's mostly with his sister.
I don't like that.
So,
I like him
and
as the logical.
But Enola Holmes got sued because they showed Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes have a little bit of empathy and emotions for Enola.
Right.
So they got sued, but I think they won that lawsuit because they made a second one, I guess.
So you're saying that the people that run Sherlock Holmes do not want him shown having emotion?
I think that the emotional Sherlock Holmes is still copyrighted. The unemotional one, the sheer thing, I think everybody can do a story.
Public domain?
I think
A lot of things are going public domain
Well, it's
lately.
because it's so old.
Yeah.
Yeah. After like
Mickey
not Mickey Mouse.
I thought
Willie the Steamboat.
Willie the Steamboat
is public domain.
Winnie
Mickey
the
Mouse
Pooh,
is not. I don't
Winnie
think
the Pooh went
Winnie the
public
Pooh,
domain.
Yeah.
Somebody else just went
Popeye.
Popeye.
Yeah.
There was another one.
I like how as soon as they go public domain,
They
in a
make horror movies.
movie,
It's just
cheap.
become a trend lately.
Yeah, it's cheap. They're cheap to make.
I'm not
And they
gonna
can
lie.
pump them out fast.
I think they're hilarious.
Yeah,
Th-
Winnie
those-
the Pooh, Blood and Honey was top notch.
I love
campy.
B-rated campy movies
Yeah.
to begin with.
And I'm Willie the Steamboat. It's the same guy who made Terrifier,
Oh, really?
I think, or the same actor who's in Terrifier is going to be Willie the
He's going
Steamboat.
to be in the.
He's going to be the
suit-
mouse,
or the guy. Yeah.
mhm, he's going to be the mouse, which is good
That
because
would be
I like
cool.
Terrifier. But
No, I skip those.
Yeah. Well, it's gory.
yeah.
It's not just the gore.
You just think it's stupid.
I don't
No
like
plot. No.
So
No,
why do you
I
think
don't like
Venom's not done?
slashers.
Why do you think Venom's not done?
because okay, this is allegedly okay,
Uh-huh.
but there's gonna be a Spider-Man movie,
Spider-Man 4. Mm-hmm.
And he'll appear.
and they're saying
I think he's going to
allegedly
face Craven
that-
in that one.
They're gonna if they're
There's a
gonna have to do that,
possibility.
they're gonna have to work together. It's the only way to make Tom Hardy's character work because he's too much.
It could be in another universe.
They
He's too
said-
much. He's not
don't
even.
forget
He's
they
not
didn't
even
cover,
anti-hero.
They
at
didn't
this
cover
point.
when he was in the, what he
They
did
took Venom.
with the multiverse.
Yeah, I remember.
They didn't cover any of that.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he left. I know. In the multiverse, he left some of his
Some of
Venom.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think
On the bar.
they
He did.
fundamentally because he's been a villain, right? And he's been an anti-hero, but Tom Hardy makes him just a straight hero. He's not even an anti-hero.
He's
in-
an anti-hero.
He's
He eats
not
people.
he
bad
only eats bad
guys?
people.
Yeah, but it's still an anti-hero.
That's a vigilante. The same
But-
thing that Spider. He kills him, yeah, but
As
Yeah.
soon as they kill people, that's it. They don't go hero.
But
yeah, I guess.
but-
if you think about it that way,
yeah, but
But
I
that's
don't
no
agree
fun.
with it.
that's
I don't
because
agree with
Tom
it.
Hardy's so likable.
that's why I think that they're going to work together if there is a movie where they're in it. They might fight at first, but they'll end up in the end. They'll work. That's just how those movies
I
go.
think if he comes back, because if you watched the third one, it seemed like he was losing his mind.
I did not emotionally connect to that movie as much as other people say they did because people were talking about crying at the end of it
I don't
and
know
stuff
about-
like
I mean,
that.
I
just
got teary
I
eyed
did-
because it
I-
was like he lost his best friend.
He did.
Spoiler.
He
sorry.
did. Spoiler alert. He said goodbye though, but he said he would be back. He'd see him again. He already at that point we already knew we were going to see him again.
We already talked about this.
We're bad with the spoiler
It's
alerts.
not.
Yeah, we do after the
He
spoiler.
only said it's not.
It's not
goodbye.
goodbye.
It's goodbye for now because
now, yeah.
of what Martin had said to him.
So it doesn't mean they
That's
take
what
the meaning away
that's
anymore.
what I'm telling you, it's.
He's not gone, and
No, I don't think he's gone.
No.
so that's why I didn't get all emotional about it.
But he just said it because Martin had told him
Yeah, I remember.
when
Yeah.
they parted ways in Vegas.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't either.
But Spider-Man 4, I think they're going to go along with Craven. I think the Craven
it
movie.
depends on how the Craven movie does.
Oh, it's going to do good.
I
tell
don't
you
know,
now,
dude.
it's
They've
gonna
been
do
doing
good.
some flops lately, and I'm worried.
if they don't, if they stop doing the freaking multiverse, no one likes it.
Not
no
anymore.
one has liked it at all.
Yeah, it was. They should have stopped it at Endgame because Endgame was perfect. It was peak. That should have been, and they should have scrapped it at that point. They should have started the cinematic universe over if that's what they were going to do.
Yeah,
and just boom.
Yeah,
go from there,
or just continue off that. Like, oh, okay, it's done.
Yeah,
that was a one-off.
Yeah,
but no, they like that, and I thought Deadpool and Wolverine were going to fix it. Like they kind of did in a way, but it was like one of the only multiverse movies that have came out that actually did good.
That movie was so good.
It was good. But no, the Kraven, if they stick to just the Kraven story, his backstory, don't turn him into a hero. He's not a hero.
No.
He's not an anti-hero.
But they're going to.
He is
They're not going to be able to make the movie work otherwise.
Yeah, they can. Why not?
The whole movie with him being just going around.
They made a movie about Joker, and the first one, not the second one. The second one sucked.
Yeah, but that was unique.
Yeah, it was unique, but they made him a likable character, but they still made him a villain.
By the way, I'm sorry to interject
Joker's
and change
different.
again. Yeah. Did you see? I don't think you watched it, but the new Penguin.
Yeah, you people liked them all the way up until the last
episode 8.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers now.
Yeah, so Colin Farrell said, I will be surprised if anybody likes him after episode 8, and then we got to it, and everybody understood why Penguin should not be...
I still like villains. I've always been a person who loves villains. And
it's easier to understand in a human capacity why people do what they do.
Yeah, like Thanos, like I kind of agreed with him somewhat. Just because
No, that's so dumb. Why did he not just multiply the resources?
Because it wouldn't have fixed it.
Why?
Because we would have populated more, and then eventually we
still would have ran out of resources. He would have kept... He had infinite power. He could have kept infinitely expanding. Yeah, there's no limit to it.
The problem was he was... At the point now, he had no faith.
Yeah, he had no faith. He had watched his people.
If you had unlimited power, there was better ways to have done it than what he did.
He was experimenting, right? He was killing half of a world that he had taken over, and he was like, okay,
and it worked out great on that one world.
Yeah. So, but he did it on his world. It didn't work because they just kept on repopulating faster to get up to that thing. But now, like, with our own world, Earth, the population's starting to reach its platform.
Not anymore.
In America, anyway.
At this point, lots of countries are basically begging their people, like South Korea.
South Korea's a big one.
I'll let you go into
they
that.
They have the B4 movement, which is just...
It's sad. It is so sad.
What?
The women in South... I'll let you talk about it, because you know way more. I will just mess it up.
They're tired of being treated the way they're being treated. Mm-hmm. It's a new expansion of the men suck.
Okay. So it's reached other countries.
It's not reached other countries. It's just women are tired of it.
They're not... Yeah. They want more rights, and they're not having any more babies until they get those rights.
Yep.
Those like the
it's
Democrat
an expansion on the women's rights movement.
The Democrat women in America are like, we're not
shaving their head.
We're not going to date men. We're not going to like that. And this conservative lady was like, okay, we'll just overpopulate you. Like, we'll just populate, and there'll just be more of us.
Yeah,
like,
well, the problem is the pick-me's don't get the men because they already are the way that men want to make women be. Like Pearl.
Do you say pick-me's?
Pick-me's.
The women
who go along with the way men want things to go.
I'm not going to sit here and talk about women in any kind of negative way. So, like I said,
I don't think women shouldn't have to change themselves for a man.
No,
but they do.
They should be. Obviously, and men do stuff to attract women. It's just people forget we're animals. Yes, we're human. But we're also animals, and we have that biological breed. Like, we got to breed. Just like mating calls. and stuff.
Yeah,
We
well-
just mate. Usually, we're supposed to mate for life. Like,
I'm
killer
sorry.
whales.
That just made me think of those birds that do the weird dance.
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, but
Exactly.
we do that. If you think about it, we don't do stupid dance. But like,
It'd be
I
funny,
know.
though. That'd be
guys
fucking
do
hilarious,
stupid
though.
shit.
The cologne, the
Yeah, to
hairstyles, everything that we do is meant to
but
attract.
it's gotten
opposite
away
sex,
from that.
or the
It's
same
gotten away
sex.
from that.
It's not even. It's never been that.
It used
Never.
to be.
No.
Yeah,
even
but
at
I'm
the
just saying,
start. But
okay.
it's not like men had only one mate for their entire life. They had multiple.
You ever have you ever had a guy or a boy when you were in grade school or whatever pull your hair, and
Yeah.
your mom's like,
Yes.
"Oh, it's just because he likes some stuff."
No.
I know.
That's the one
Hold
thing
on.
my mom never did.
I know, but hold on. We know at a biological standpoint, and it doesn't matter what sexuality you are, what gender you are. We are biologically. We want to find love, like it's a human. It's a uniquely human
connection, and it doesn't even have to be love either. It's platonic connections.
it's companionship.
Yeah.
And we go through that, and we have to okay, we make ourselves better. We put out a shell or an aura, I guess, of like a fake. Like you want to look better than what you really are to attract that person to get you to like them. Like I want you to like me, so I'm going to put my best self out there.
And then you get married and don't try
and
anymore.
and then it goes.
And then
back.
all the stuff
shell
goes away.
Yeah, the shell break. You don't have to. You already got them.
Yeah.
Why would you need to put out your best self? But
But you should be your best self for.
yeah, but I don't think that's needed any longer. I think that everybody can just be themselves.
Well, no, not anymore. It's in a perfect world, sure, but
Yeah, I mean, but that's how it should be. Everyone should just be themselves. No one should have to change anything about themselves to have companionship.
or to get approval, or
Or get rights, basic fucking rights that
Yeah,
every
that's
person,
especially-
every
Like you said,
human
perfect
should have.
world. That's never
Yeah.
going to happen.
No.
It's not. It's not. And with certain political things, which I don't like about talking about politics at
no,
all.
yeah, we don't
But like
to.
it's one of those times where it could go either way. Like we could lose a whole bunch of rights that people have fought about for a long time, or they could stay the same, or who knows? And
Back to the women not
in the future,
wanting to have babies. Mm-hmm. Right. You said it's biologically ingrained in us.
It's
We're
sad.
supposed to repopulate.
It's sad that the only thing that women can do
Is take away the babies.
is to not have babies. That is it has come down to that in order to be able to get just
Heard.
yeah.
It's pretty. It's,
But
But we're
Devastating
going
is that.
against biological in order to be like, hey, we won't have babies.
which is a huge sacrifice.
and this is what South. Is this just South Korea?
No,
or it's like
this is
It's a
world?
spreading
everywhere.
before movement spreading to
Yeah.
other
it
countries.
was.
and-
It started real intensely in Poland.
Yeah,
They put out that abortion ban, and women everywhere flooded the streets. They were everywhere, and they still passed it because women aren't heard. They aren't cared.
do they have the right to vote?
Yes, but
was it just more men than women in that?
it doesn't
country?
matter. The government there is the one that makes the rules.
Okay. I'm thinking like, oh, it's America. Like,
Yeah.
we
it's
all
hard
voted.
as an American to think from
That way.
other
I know.
aspects. Yeah,
It's hard for a man
get to understand.
to understand that because obviously
We're not women. We
yeah,
don't go
we
through what
understand
women go
anything
through.
like that. But it's one of those things where like people need to advocate for it. Like the
Advocating doesn't always work.
Advocating, yeah.
Obviously,
It's great. It's great to
all
spread.
those women
it's great,
advocated,
It's great.
Yes,
great to
they
spread
did.
awareness, but
and it did nothing.
physical actions.
how
are more important,
long
too.
have other diminished groups or
You still can't even say that because nobody is where they should be.
no one's where they should be, but like I said, they went out and advocated and
You can-
advocated and I'm not saying
Advocating
it got better.
isn't enough. Advocating isn't enough
Yeah.
because you still have people in power that don't care.
Yeah, but if you have children, you can
And
teach them
to what?
like that, and eventually
To spend
they
their
become
entire
that.
lives advocating for their children?
Eventually, the people who will come up. Like, all these old people are going to die.
Yes, but it doesn't matter because they raised people
Yeah.
who also view the same.
And they make sure that they're the ones that stay in power.
Yep.
Nothing
is going to change.
You're saying that
to do
eventually there will be and I
break.
don't mean to be like this, but a revolution.
Not a revolution.
I'm saying, I know, I'm just, hear me out here. I'm saying, basically, eventually people will get tired of it and there will be a change.
Yeah.
Eventually, sometime down the line, the people that want a change will eventually get that change. But then what?
Okay.
The cycle will eventually repeat because then those people that don't like that change will get. And
there's 3 groups in America,
hard explaining
right?
things.
That didn't. Well, 4 groups that did not have rights.
There's
at one
a lot
point.
more than 4.
4 big ones. Poor people, because only the rich or landowners could vote. Obviously, Black Americans, because they were slaves, they didn't have the right to vote. And then when they got the right to vote, it was like they were only counted for
nothing. It's basically just to say, "Hey, I have the right to vote." Women,
and LGBTQ plus community. They had the right to vote, but they didn't have other basic rights.
They couldn't get married.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
Every
it wasn't
one of
accepted.
those
Period.
groups, though, every one of those groups advocated for years and years and years.
And you're saying, look at where we are now compared to where we were then, because of the fact that people are
but the
advocating.
problem is still the same.
Yeah, it is. I'm just saying. I didn't say they got all of their rights that they should have. I'm just saying it's a long battle for everyone who's not white.
In this time frame, it shouldn't be this way.
No, it shouldn't. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying
we've definitely gone off the rails.
Aren't problems. There aren't problems. Right?
I meant in life, not in the podcast.
Yeah. I'm not saying there's not problems at all, because there are a billion problems. All I'm saying is that with avocation and allies, some stuff can start getting better. Now, should it be like that? Absolutely not. It's bullshit that everybody doesn't have the same rights as everyone else. But I'm saying that I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying anymore. But it's one of those things where I think if with enough avocation that
in the next 20 to 40 to 50 years, something will change.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that obviously there's some states that heard women, and they did not do the whole ban. They made it legal and everything, which for what I don't understand why is a big fucking deal to anyone to begin with. You're not doing it. You're not seeing it. It's a medical procedure which I thought in this country we had the right to choose our doctor, the right to deny
medical
or
privacy,
accept privacy and stuff. So
confidentiality.
Yeah, we have HIPAA laws and all that stuff. Why the fuck is it all of a sudden that
unless you're a woman?
The government should not be involved in
healthcare,
not in anything that we have to do with ourselves.
Yeah,
bodies, our autonomy, anything.
Do I personally agree with abortion? In some instances, yeah, but mostly no. But am I going to sit there and be like, you can't have that, you can't do that? No. It's not my place at all
to
tell
get involved
anyone else,
that.
Man, woman, any gender, that this is what you need to do.
My viewpoint as a man, I have no right at all to say anything about it. Period. I can say I think that women should have a right to be able to choose, but that's as far as I go because I'm a man. I don't go through the pregnancy. I don't go through the complications that some women have that will kill them.
Yeah.
I'm a man. That's never going to happen to me. So I literally have no say.
For one, that I just don't care. I don't care what women do with their bodies. I don't care what anyone else does with their body. I don't care. Like, it's not me. It's not affecting myself. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's not just women.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying
It's
that, like...
children.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more intense than just women being able to have a right
What do you
over
mean,
their
children?
own bodies. There's states that refuse abortions for the 12-year-old
That
You
gets
know-
molested and raped by
okay.
their father.
Wow.
or by anybody.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
You
a
know,
lot of people
brother
don't
or
think about
whatever.
that, though.
They think about it.
They
it's
just don't
brought
care.
up. They don't care.
Or like
And
that.
they like to say they're pro-life, but they're not. They're pro-control.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's
Once you-
the government. So-
Once it's not the government though. It's
Yeah,
not.
I'm just
It's
saying that-
people.
Well, obviously, it's the government because they're the ones that make the rules,
Society
correct?
as a whole.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Society, yeah.
And unfortunately, right now, the majority of what's being heard are
It's
the
against
ones,
women's rights and against women's.
I don't know if I'm the right person to be talking about this
We're not.
because
We us two are
regardless-
not. Yeah.
well, I'm allowed to state my opinion.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not trying to
but
say
I'm
that.
not saying that. I often mean something else but say the wrong thing. Like what I'm trying to explain isn't coming out right. So it's really difficult for me to talk about political shit, which is usually why we don't talk about political shit.
Yeah, it just makes us come off as dumb, like we don't know what we're talking about. And
No, it's just we have an opinion. Not everybody's going to agree with that opinion, and obviously, I'm in the opinion that all humans should have the same rights as everyone else. Mm-hmm. Like human rights, it should not be
human
gay
rights is in the
women
name.
rights.
It's in the
Man
name.
rights.
It's human rights.
Yeah, it
it's
should
not
be
that.
human.
it's
like
self-explanatory.
Homo sapiens.
the ocean
rights.
aliens don't get rights.
Yeah.
They're ocean aliens.
Well, yeah, I mean, animals. There's certain animals that have more rights than certain people.
Yep.
Like that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Like, for one, if I want to own a tiger,
A tiger.
I should be able to own a tiger.
No tigers.
I think I should own a tiger.
No tigers.
No monkeys though. I'd own a tiger over a monkey
I wouldn't own either
or a
of
chimpanzee.
them. I don't
'cause
think they should be
chimpanzees will
owned.
kill you.
I
so like
Would absolutely love to work at a monkey rehab center that deals with baby and young monkeys because they're the most lovable when they're in that stage. And then I would only stay in that area because I would not want to have them when they're older because they
So-
get aggressive then.
Dom,
but that
are you
young-
the reason why those monkeys are out in North Carolina?
No,
like,
no,
is that
I'm
what
not.
you're telling me? Like you just wanted to play with some monkeys?
Yeah, so
and
I took them out of their
left the door
cages.
open. Left the door
no.
open.
All 43 of them.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just
some
an
of them have been
animal lover
caught.
in general.
There's still some on the loose, but most of them have been caught.
Well, I don't.
And the governor's like, they're
Agree.
on an adventure. like, I was like, what have you? For one, I
This
need
is a
to know.
bio lab.
Yeah,
What
I
were
need
I
to
was going
know
to say, this
what
isn't
would-
a zoo.
What
Yeah.
were they
Yeah.
being tested on?
Exactly what they need to be tested on, what they may or may not have, what danger.
Yeah, we don't know anything about any
we
of
don't
that.
do anything like that. So I'm like, they're like, oh, they're on an adventure. Like, spreading what?
Yeah.
Like,
Next thing we know, 2 years down the line, it's not going to be COVID anymore. It's going to be some kind of simian
Movid.
flu, and here we
okay,
go, Kingdom of the
Am
Apes.
I wrong
Probably.
into know probably yeah? Am I wrong into saying or thinking that AIDS, the AIDS virus or the AIDS disease and the HIV virus came from monkeys? Is that true or not? Like I've heard that, but is it true?
No,
It's not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the monkeys did have the AIDS virus, but it didn't spread through people having relations with monkeys. That's
no.
the
That's
myth.
not what I'm saying.
I thought that's
at
what you were
all.
going
no,
with.
No. I'm not saying that intercourse or anything like that was ever that. No, I'm not saying that.
We're gonna look it up here and find
I'm
out.
saying like blood transfusion, like
Yes.
people get blood and stuff, bitten and
Right,
also,
that's
like
what-
almost like rabies.
Yeah, but
Yes.
the other
It's
It did come from monkeys.
chimpanzees in
Yeah.
West Africa and
Yes.
was transmitted to humans through contact with infected blood.
yes,
Yeah. No, I'm
No,
not saying
but
like
that
people
was-
were having sex with
No,
chimpanzees.
no, I'm not saying you were
No,
saying.
yeah,
I'm
that
saying
was
that
the
that
rumor.
was the
Yeah.
rumor back in the
Yeah.
80s was that people were having relations with monkeys, and
Yeah, no.
That's how
and
the
then
virus
and
spread.
then that was another thing. What I was talking about with the LBGTQ T. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Well, it was more like it was the gay community back then. It was called gay cancer because they literally were like only gay people can get it.
right.
And that's not true at all.
No.
Like, HIV does not give a shit
Yeah.
what your sexual orientation is.
No, because it's through the
kills.
blood. You can
Yeah.
get it by having an open wound and getting the blood in you. You can get it through a transfusion that happened to have the virus in it by accident or something.
Yeah. But the reason I brought it up is not to talk about, like,
Why we're going on to the
they may have found a cure
for AIDS.
for AIDS and HIV
Really?
through reptile DNA.
No.
Alligator and crocodile. They injected them with this virus. I think it's like 10 years away. Animal
I don't know
testing.
why.
I don't. What made them think? Like, well, I mean, they eat monkeys. They do. They eat
Yeah.
monkeys. So obviously, if a monkey had HIV or AIDS, and the
the
crocodile ate
crocodile
it,
should get HIV, but they didn't. Is that what you're saying?
they get it. Their immune system fights it off.
Right. So that something in their immune system is something that we need to be able to
Yeah.
cure it.
Yeah, because most vaccines and cures come from animals, tested on animals.
That's because we can't test humans.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Well, you gotta-
there's some
gotta do it.
groups that test it on humans.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
Yeah,
we'll
and
save that for
it
that one
wasn't-
episode that we're going
Well,
to
it
do.
wasn't just Nazis. It was
No, it was others.
It was the United States too.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere. But
Humans are just disgusting.
no, but
creatures.
I found that
They are.
fascinating. Yeah,
They are awful.
I found that fascinating, that the alligators and stuff, and I saw that like 6 or 7 years ago. So they said it was 10 years before human testing, which I think should be coming up soon. Which I'm hoping is a really good thing, because if we can knock that out, then
I don't know. It's good. We're
people can start
I
not
again
wearing
want to
condoms
sound.
anymore.
I again don't
It's
want
not-
to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but Big Pharma is going to make sure that
Yeah, but
it's super
it
controlled
depends,
and
because
makes
there's-
the most amount of money that they can possibly make.
the
Same thing if
people-
a cure for cancer came
the
out.
people are
If it ever
researching.
comes out.
Yeah, they're
They
researching
make
for
the insurance companies make too much money.
They may have found a cure for sickle cell too. A boy went in who had sickle cell. They gave him the cure for sickle cell, and he came back out.
Without it,
Yeah, without it, relatively without it. I don't know logistically how that works with sickle cell, but it would be a huge game changer, because there's a lot of people that have sickle cell, and it usually attacks you as a kid. But for one, cancer like leukemia, they may have found that something that greatly reduces deaths from leukemia from children with cancer. So that cancer knocked that shit out of the park. Like, take that away. Children and babies should not have cancer.
we
Like-
can't just take it away.
Yeah, I know. But if they can find a cure for that, great. Like, as you
Yeah,
get
but
older,
not
you're more adept
everybody-
to fight that off.
Not everybody will be able to get that.
St. Jude's is really good about that, though.
Yes, but there's not enough funding. It needs
I
to be
don't
more.
know. I think
I
when
donate
with
to St.
children
Jude a lot.
involved,
I do too.
I think children are a little bit different. There's something, that make people even not very great people be better about things. So I think that if a cure for cancer came out for children, that I don't think that they would do
You
as much
say
as they
that,
would. I know. I'm being more
but
optimistic than I should be, but
There's still people fighting to give children free lunch in school.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, sorry, my faith in humanity was
It was a little too high.
Was a little too high
And
for
there,
just a
there
second.
are allegedly children slaves in China.
There's also children slaves allegedly in the Congo.
Yeah.
The Congo's been through so much shit.
And
Yeah, we
the
talked
United
about
States
King
is
Leopold
allegedly
and
trying
Leopold.
to make child slaves again with
Yes, they are.
with making them go to work.
They sure
Start them off early. Get them in that factory.
that was back then. We used to do that all the time.
Yeah, we
Industrial
used
age.
to, but they're trying to bring it back, particularly in the
Okay,
southern
how-
Do you
states.
want your kids going and working in a
how
coal
old?
mine?
How old though?
Not the black lung.
Okay, for one, how old?
They're talking
And
like
two,
14, 15.
Okay, yeah, but what would they be doing? Like, if it's a cashier or a
No,
bagger,
they're not going to
even-
discriminate. They're going to make it to where
Even
it's like
a
warehouse
cashier
jobs.
as a 14-year-old as
It's too much.
That's too
Those
much.
kids should be in school.
16-year-olds shouldn't
yeah,
even be
they
doing
should
that.
be in school. They should be learning and getting ready for their
they
lives.
should be having proper education. In
Education.
school.
well,
yeah.
I think that they should, like, on-the-job training and apprenticeship has been around since the beginning of time, since some of their skills. Their skills.
Apprenticeship is different.
Yeah,
They don't get paid for that.
they don't, but they get paid with experience.
Child labor.
No.
Exactly. And it's even worse than
not
childhood
that.
labor.
Okay. But it's teaching a skill.
Teaching a skill,
That's
they have their
important.
entire lives to learn a skill.
Yeah, but
And maybe they don't want to do that
okay.
skill.
When you're
Because their
searching for
parents
your
will be in
first
control
job,
if their
Of their
bad
skill choices.
If the bad parents decide that their kid needs to be a doctor and the kid does not want to be a doctor, they're pushing them into that career. They're having to learn that stuff, and
well,
there's
for one,
no free will.
I don't think there's anything. You cannot be an apprentice doctor. You'll
Well,
get with no
that was
education.
Well, you-
that was a bad example.
Yeah.
But
You can be an apprentice. Yeah, so they have
you
internships.
still have to go through schools, though.
Yeah, you'd have to
that's
be a
after
savant.
You went through all that.
you'd have
school.
to be a savant, like a good doctor type,
Yeah.
to be able to
Yeah.
apprentice with a doctor as a child.
Yeah. So I mean, or Doogie Howser, which is for the old people.
Young Sheldon.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be a genius to be able to go through school that fast and
Yeah.
become a doctor.
But anyway,
But yeah, they do have internships, but you still have to go all through all the schooling. But with I don't remember what I was saying.
we were talking about child labor.
Yeah, child labor. Yeah, child labor. I don't agree with it. Obviously, I
No.
don't do slave labor and slave and child thing. But
There's no
I
buts.
do agree with high school students learning more about
Trades.
the world. Trades
Yes.
for
Trade
one.
school is a good thing.
Yeah.
I
Not
agree.
for high school students.
No, for after. Well,
I don't
There
know.
should
I think
be
trade school should
specific
be.
What's the-
like courses in class.
yes, but
Yeah.
there are certain. What do they call those? There's something that they call them that kids used to do all the time. They don't do as much anymore. Trade, but it's not trade school. It's something else. I'm sorry. I'm
Wood
blanking.
crafting?
Well, no.
Or what-
There was
welding?
it was a broad term for all of those types of things.
I don't know.
Wait, you're talking about in high school?
Yeah,
Like exploratory.
yeah, kind of. But there was a certain.
Yeah, I did a
term.
radio station one time. That was
Yeah,
the cool thing,
it
and
was
that's
like
what
a
I
whole
fell in love
thing.
with.
That you
I never
could
stayed
do.
to school
You would
long
go.
enough.
It would be carpentry. You would go and do some mechanical stuff. You would go off campus sometimes and to different.
Yeah, I
schools
think
to
that
do it.
we called it exploratory.
I cannot
here.
remember for the life of me what it was when I
But
was in school.
anyways, I think they should be learning that. They should be learning financings, and they should be learning
Yes,
credit.
taxes.
Public
Credit.
education.
We make them smarter. We make the government smarter.
Yeah.
But the problem is they don't want that.
No.
The
No.
public education system is going to absolutely just get worse. It's already horrible. The teachers
Yeah.
are dealing with so much shit, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
And kids are going to get
There's-
stupider. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but
They're not going to get stupider.
No,
I
they're
think
100% going to be.
they're
stupider.
not going to learn
want
what they
them-
need to learn in school,
they
but
want-
there is other
Okay,
information.
fine. Propaganda then.
Yeah.
Propaganda is the
They're
best way to
gonna-
put
Yeah,
it.
TikTok will be the new educational system, and
No, I'm talking about in
No,
school.
I'm talking about public
no,
school
yeah,
system.
I'm
Public
talking about
school
Okay, I
systems.
learned more out of school than I did in school.
That's because we weren't taught anything.
Yeah,
And we
well,
weren't taught anything that was true.
Well, history. I liked history.
History
I
wasn't
loved
true.
history.
history speculation.
Some of it's
a lot
true.
of it is speculation.
No, it's written by the victors. Like, we could learn the same thing
Well,
from
and
a
then
different perspective.
Germany, for instance, like they learn
Or even
a
Japan.
completely different way of how the events
that
of World
true,
War
though?
II. I think so.
like, does Germany teach in their history books and their history
They
classes?
teach that they want.
about
Obviously, we
Adolf
want.
Hitler
Yes,
and Nazi.
they have
Yes.
to.
They
It's
have to,
in,
yes.
it's in there.
But are they on the same level as like what we learn in America? Like they're all
Even
evil
Britain
and
learns
stuff
Yes,
it
like that?
different
because
because you
they-
if you talk.
Okay, I'm just asking. Don't get mad at me.
Germany-
I'm
No,
just
we're not.
asking.
We're getting overexcited.
Germany is the biggest advocate with we've
Messed up.
screwed up,
Yeah.
and so they're working to fix it.
Did you see where their government fell?
I
Yes.
did. They
Yeah.
have
Which is not great.
they had I don't know how many are around anymore. SS troops
Yeah.
teach the youth the signs of like anti-Semitics and stuff like that, so that they could avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
So
The point is,
like I
we
said, I don't know
learn
how
from
many-
our point of view. Basically, we don't.
Germany does it different.
Yeah. According to
It's
history books,
history
we
is
won
subjective.
Vietnam, Korea, and
But Germany does it
yeah,
different.
Right.
According
Germany
to
won't
American
do what they did
history
again.
books, we have never lost a war. America's never.
Yeah,
lost
even
a war.
they don't talk. Even Vietnam is not a loss.
Yeah, like no,
Well,
we
Vietnam
lost. We should
wasn't a
never.
war.
Yeah, we
right.
should.
Vietnam
never
wasn't a
win.
war.
Okay.
It was
What do they call it, a
police-
conflict?
A police conflict or something like that.
Yeah, I
And
wholeheartedly,
Mm-hmm.
my heart goes out to the veterans and everything with the Korean and Vietnam War.
Yep.
But we should not have been there, and
Nope.
I think a lot of veterans
I
of
think-
that time era believe. Yes, they served their country.
They don't want to
Thank
believe
you
that
so
because
much
that
for
means
that.
that they went there for
But,
nothing.
Yeah.
They did go there for nothing.
Wait,
They
right,
did.
but that's why it's so hard for it's just
It depends on the person. It really does.
Right.
I know that I've known.
Some
I have
think that
family members who fought in Vietnam, Army intelligence and everything,
Yeah.
and they're just like, there was absolutely no
There
point
was no
going
point.
there. Like it was literally like,
We were scared of communism,
Yeah.
which is the stupidest thing.
yeah, because you know what, communist governments don't work. They
getting
don't.
politicky.
I know, but they don't work. But so I think, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up before we burn through every content.
I know.
And stuff. I just love talking
Me
about
too.
random shit. Thank you guys for 100 episodes. If
This
you
was
lasted
really,
this
really
long
fun.
through this many subject changes,
Good on you,
yeah.
and thank you so much
Yeah.
for listening because we really appreciate it.
this has this show has been it's been like my therapy. It really has. Just like, I know that we don't talk about mental health
Personal
and
stuff or
personal
anything
stuff
like
or like that, but just talking about a subject and putting my heart and soul into it, and which sometimes it doesn't seem like because the audio and everything and the information's not great, but we try, and that's the most important thing. And to reach 100 episodes, when I think we're in the top 25% just with episodes just released, because most of them fail after 3 episodes.
Yeah, because
Like 90% of all podcasts don't get past the 3rd episode.
yeah,
So, and that's a statistic I learned through like Pod News and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So, like, we're beating the odds,
we're getting there.
and I'm hoping we get to 500
Yeah,
to 1,000.
Next
Like,
goal.
yeah,
Keep it
500.
trucking.
Yeah, or 250, something like that. Or I think our next big celebrational episode will probably be our 5-year anniversary.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
because we're on what now? 3,
yeah. February will be our 4th year.
4th year.
Yeah. So it's going past,
Yep.
and hopefully we'll have. I'm hoping like we run out of true crime.
We won't.
Of course.
We never will.
Of course.
Humans suck.
Yeah.
We want to thank Trey for everything that she does. I know she doesn't appear on the podcast very often, but she is behind the scenes doing a great job.
Most of the research. Let's just be honest. She's
the majority
reader.
of the research. Everything. Most of the time we
Although-
go off script. We don't do well. I know it's
Yeah.
frustrating for her, but she does really good.
Yeah,
she gets
but
all
you
the
can
information.
hear some of her in the script.
Yeah.
like she was here. Like just her viewpoints. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way she writes it. Because like I like reading off a script. I know a
Right.
lot of people don't.
I do too, but I like to
You
use
like
it.
script notes.
I like to use it as kind of a it's a jumping off
Like a
point.
guideline.
Yeah, a guideline. Something that keeps me kind of on track because my ADHD makes me go wild.
as we can see in this episode.
Yeah, but it keeps me kind of on track. I don't have to necessarily just read it word for word. You know, I kind of go off a little bit, but it helps me a lot to have that script to be able to go off of. And if not for Trey, we would not be able to have gotten as far as we have.
Absolutely. And so a big thank you to Trey and Ashton for being very patient with us.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
with the merch and the different logos. Like I think I talk to him like every day, like with new logo ideas.
Yeah,
and he's just
poor
like,
guy.
He's like, please leave me alone. But we greatly appreciate him.
Yeah, if
the
it wasn't for
logos.
him, the logo would not exist.
Oh yeah, multiple logos, except
Logos,
for
yeah.
the Dartarian Show logo,
The original.
the original from Coda. That I love that logo.
Yeah, it's still
my
one of my-
all-time favorite.
still a good
ones. And but unfortunately, we went from I guess fortunately and / unfortunately, we cannot use that logo anymore because
We're no longer playing with our turn.
yeah, our Dartarian Show. He did one for the Planet Dartarian, but like everyone, we assumed he thought it was all going to be space.
Yeah.
So he just literally made a planet with planet Dartarian going around. It almost looked like the Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, almost.
So I was like,
yeah, we didn't win any copyright.
yeah. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you in season 8. The next episode, the moon landing, was it real or was it not? And we all know Trey's stance. All right. Thank you guys, and keep on listening. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.